Okay, so this guy is a big guy in the industry. When you talk about black copywriters in America doing this copywriting thing, he's like number one. I don't know of any. I've not even seen any other black copywriter. Funny enough, in America. Coming to think of it, so he owns this large audience of black copywriters in the world. And he's this person that has given Africans a voice, accepted us as his brothers. And that's awesome because when copywriters started getting into the fold, these Americans, they didn't accept us as fast as possible, right? Like they didn't want to adopt us into their system. They will be giving us super low rates. You see a job that ordinary now I'll do for like $4,000. They'll be charging, they will not pay more than $700, So, but we kept on pushing as Nigerians, as Africans. And the fact that we got better than most of these white guys, most of these Americans, so it made us started demanding high prices. And also, Donnie also played a huge part in talking about his story, um, in talking about how Black copywriters should be measured by their value and not by the color of their skin or where they are from and all that. So Donnie is a huge guy in the industry. I'll be sending the link to him now. I don't know, I should have even done this introduction when he was here. So, and the guy he has done over $100 million in sales, right? It is not easy bringing him on this call. So you guys should actually appreciate the fact that he is coming to this particular um session. And he's such a humble guy, such a simple guy, right? So yeah, over $100 million in sales, right? Also, we are still talking about 1 point something million. He's talking 100 million, and he has been doing this for a while. Okay. So he'll be coming to talk about client acquisition. Let me send him the link.
Hi everyone. Good evening, guys.
Good evening,
Hello, Rachel.
Okay, so I'm resuming recording for people that will be watching this later on. Um,
Hi, Donnie.
hey,
Hi,
Donnie.
Rachel. How are you
Fine,
today?
thank you.
How y'all doing?
Great.
Great. Nice to have you here. Mm.
Thank you for having me. I need to get into my camera.
Okay. Crazy. Like, I know we wasted a little time. We're trying to make everybody get in. You know, people are just coming back from work and all. People are just coming back from work on this side of the world.
Right.
Yeah. So what's good?
Just working. I was doing some helping another copywriter figure out a promotion he's struggling with. And I said, I gotta hop on this mastermind. So it's all good. What's going on with y'all?
Yeah, we good. We good. We're happy to see you here, man. Okay, so I've already done a quick introduction. I told them Donnie DB is over $100 million copywriter. Done that in sales, even though he will try to be humble about it, but I need to put it out there, you know.
Sure.
Then also DB has his community, Black copywriters community. It has been a huge help for a lot of Black copywriters out there. It has been influential um, to making us feel that we belong, because it's sometimes not easy when you know that you're going to a world dominated by other people, right? It has not been that easy. So, but seeing that, oh, that someone is there pushing for Black copywriters and all that, it has been of immense help, right? So we have done a brief introduction. See people in the comment section saying hello, Donnie.
I see a couple of those things popping up. So great to
Yeah.
be here with you all.
Okay, so we'll leave. Let me leave the stage for you. I'll give you the mic, so you take control.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So thank you again for inviting me to speak to this group. You know, I am a huge fan of these two. They're the best of the best, and I'm so grateful that you're doing what you're doing, and we're together trying to help Black copywriters get this money. So that's what we want to talk about. I don't know what you've covered up until now, so I have 30 or so slides.
Okay.
If there's something that you feel like you don't have, what's that?
Okay. You know what? Just do what you got to do, right? Just do it, right?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So
I think if
let
there's
me.
some things that you feel you want me to, like, it's not whatever. We'll move forward. But you can, hop
Yeah.
in and interact. And I may have some questions or whatever to pose to you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to shoot for. Usually 30 slides for me is 60 minutes of talking,
Okay.
and then we have plenty of time for Q&A.
Awesome.
And that's probably going to be very interesting because I need to know what y'all want to know. So let's get into it. I can find my slides here. Nice. I'm going to try not to be too humble
Please.
for the purposes of doing what we're here to do. We all want to make more money. We all deserve to make more money, and I've had the fortunate experience of making a lot of money, and so I want to share that with you. So a few things I just made a brief agenda. Like I said, there's actually a lot of content here, but we'll cover a rainmaker mindset that you need really if you're going to go out here and make as much money as possible, this is kind of the foundation. You've probably already gotten a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to share my opinion, my perspective, and experience on mindset. This is huge. Secondly, brand elements you need to become a client magnet. I know that's the main purpose we're here for, is to become more than just freelancers, not to be a commodity anymore. Because there's a lot of copywriters, right? A lot of people who have that name or that title associated with them, or they're trying to. We have to stand out. So I got a few things. The OPP ritual that can catapult you past your peers. And one of my favorite things that I think could be particularly valuable for you is how to leverage what I call the law of unexpected consequences. So we're going to try, and I'll probably move somewhat quickly. If there's anything you want me to slow down on, though, just be like, hold on, let's stay right there for a second, because I want this to be somewhat interactive. I'm terrible at watching the chat, but if there's anything you need me to slow down or repeat, let me know. Also, I know that my Wi-Fi sometimes is slow. So if I start to go out, just let me know and I can repeat myself. Okay. All right. So number one, why should you listen to me? Brief introduction. I'll give you a few more points. I've been doing this for 15 years now, which is probably as long as some of you were in diapers, right? You're very young when I started doing this. So I've had a chance to work with a lot of clients. I've had a chance to do a lot of things as a copywriter and marketer since in that time. And I've earned, as you heard, over $100 million for my clients. I haven't kept $100 million for myself, unfortunately. We're working on that. But I've worked with some big name clients like Dan Kennedy. Y'all know Dan Kennedy? I'm going to assume that you do, right? Agora Financial. I have a shelf, like the top shelf is mostly Dan Kennedy books. And I actually had a chance. I've never spoken with him personally, but I wrote for the company. I in the no BS marketing newsletter, I ghost wrote an article a couple years ago. So you wouldn't know it was me, but I did write it. Anyway, so then Agora Financial, who everybody knows, plenty of other companies in multiple niches. So I've got a lot of experience. And again, I made a lot of mistakes that I can try to steer you away from. Also, and probably most important, is I consistently earn 6 figures a year. And at this point in my career, it's been this way for 6 or 7 years, I don't go out looking for clients. I don't have to. Matter of fact, almost nobody can hire me. It's very difficult because I'm picky. I work with who I want to on projects that I want to, and I turn away or refer out a lot of projects because I don't have time for them or don't have interest in them. So it's a good place to be as a copywriter, where you can choose what you work on. And then, the other thing about having that situation, you set your fees however you want. And if people say no, then okay, that's fine. I don't need this project. So I want to help you guys get there. And that's what we're going to do today. Also, this is my backyard. This is where I earn 6 figures from, sitting in my backyard with that's about 15-meter pool, something like that. It's big. Just hanging out in the backyard. I'm not in there today. I'm in the office, but the pool is just in the backyard. So this is the life that you want. And this is the life that's possible no matter where on earth that you are, no matter what kind of background you have. It's possible for you to achieve, I'm telling you, your wildest dreams, even for Black people like us. It's even if you have an African name and you worry that American businesses are going to ignore you. you can overcome that. And that's what this mastermind is about. That's what today's training is about. And I have no doubt that you're going to move in that direction. It's very possible. I just want you to know from my experience. So number one that we want to cover, the rainmaker mindset. Rachel, I see this, you're smiling. Y'all watch Breaking Bad? Y'all ever saw this show before? I never watched it, but he's got piles of money. And that's what your mindset is going to be like the first thing that you need to get to the money. So copywriting, as you know, it's a big money skill set. You can make a lot of money as a copywriter, but you're never going to be never going to be paid as well or in control of your life as much as you could be until you have the right mindset. You have to think about this business the right way. That's why you made the right choice by being here today, by being in this community. You've taken a big step forward in getting in the environment, getting around people who can elevate your mindset and learning the skills and the mindset together that can help you be very successful. So I'm glad that you're here. I've got a few points. Again, I could talk about these all day. I'm going to try to be to the point so we can get everything in. But the number one thing, and I say this, you may already be doing this, but you have to understand your mindset is, I'm going to do my best learning on the job. So the main thing here is don't allow yourself to get stuck in perfectionism, or don't allow yourself to get caught up in, I need to know more so that I can charge more, or I need to know more so that I won't make any mistakes out here. The truth is, you're probably already better than, you're already better than almost any of the clients that you're trying to get. they don't know how to write copy. They may not realize it, but they don't know. So what you need to do, what you need to focus on is getting those clients. And then you're going to learn, you're going to grow so much from the work that you do with the clients, especially if you set up the relationship right. But you'll learn better when you're doing the work than you will by reading another book or taking another course. So this, I'm not talking about this group here, right? You need to have the foundational pieces to get started. But once you have the foundational pieces in place, spend your time going after clients and working on your business, not trying to become a little bit better as a copywriter. You're going to get there, but until you're making $5,000 a month, your main focus should probably be on getting more clients. That's my belief anyway. In my experience, I know I've spoken with at least a handful of people who spent 2 years learning without getting any clients. You're murdering yourself, right? Because who has 2 years to play? We're not here to play. We're here to get paid. And so don't allow that mindset of I need to learn more. You will learn more as you're working and over time, but don't let that stop you from going out and getting clients. So just thinking about that. Realize I'm already good. I'm already talented, and I have enough skill to help clients make more money, to do better. And I should go out there, and that should be my primary goal at this stage. Okay. Number two, this is huge. And it's very important that we realize this. You have to know that you are the money maker. Again, your clients don't really know, depending on who you're trying to work with. When you're trying to work with Agora Financial, they know how to make money. But if you're working with clients who are not quite at that level, they don't know how to make money. They don't know how many stupid things they're doing in their marketing, right? They don't know how much time they're wasting on stuff that doesn't work, how much money they're working, and opportunities they're missing on stuff that doesn't work. But you know, and you're learning more and more over time. You have to realize that's what you bring to the table. And if you realize that for yourself, I'm the person who knows how to make money. I'm the person who my clients need me to be all they can be. They need me. And so that will help you to be encouraged to go get clients, but also it will help you to be confident when you have clients. You'll be confident in making suggestions, right? Trying something different. They say, this is how we've always done it. And then you will say, I just want them to be happy. I mean, you won't do this, but some people will do this. I want them to be happy. I want them to keep me around. And so I'll just do what they ask. But the truth is, if you say there's a better way of doing this, and I'm happy to do that for you, and then you make them 10 times more money than they thought, or what they've done in the past, you make twice as much. I have one of my favorite little testimonials. I got a screenshot from a client. I've actually been working with this one client for 6 years now. They pay me every month more than $5,000 a month.
Wow.
Every month for the past 6 years.
One client.
But there's one thing very early in our relationship, I got a message on Skype, which says your test email more than doubled the control. Right. That's how you know this is going to be a good relationship. And when you double somebody's money off of one email, right, then they say, okay, let's listen to this guy. And that's when they keep you around, not because you do everything they say, but because you put money in the bank, because you bring new subscribers onto the list that they can then monetize. So you have to know, I'm the money maker, have the confidence to speak up as the expert, because being the guy or the lady who just who never pushes back, there's less stress in terms of the relationship but at the same time, you're much less valuable to them if you don't act like the expert. So you got to own that in your mind. I'm the guy who knows how to make money, or I'm the lady who knows how to make money. They won't make as much money as they should unless I do my thing. So that's an important mindset piece as well. This one is also huge. You may not have this as much as many people. I remember the days of feeling this way, though. I just hope and pray that this client will say yes to me, that they'll hire me, and that they'll pay me anything. And I'm lucky if they pay me anything. But that's the wrong mindset. Because again, you're the moneymaker. You're the person who knows I can come in here and change this business. I can turn things around for them. I can take a list that makes no money and make thousands, tens of thousands of dollars or more. And they are the ones who are lucky. If I decide to bless them with my presence, they're lucky. And when you begin to believe that, then you're a lot more like, you won't just let people take advantage of you. You won't just allow clients to do anything that they want to pay you a tiny bit of money or nothing, or to make you do 10 times more work than you agreed to in the first place. And you won't take clients. Sometimes you need money. That happens to all of us. Sometimes you need money, but in general, most of the time, you're not going to take clients who you know are going to make you stressed out, and who you know are going to hate you, or you're going to hate them rather. I had a client, I worked with this client for over a year, and they were paying me a lot of money too. But the guy got on my nerves. He wanted me to change my LinkedIn profile to put his name on there. And he wanted to call me at 8:00 p.m. to have me change emails for the next morning. And he wanted me to change my voicemail. So when you called me on the phone, he didn't like my voicemail. And so I fired him. I said, that's my jerk clause. I'm not dealing with people who treat me that way. It's too much stress. I have plenty of stress in my life as it is, right? Just regular life, getting old, and I can't lose weight anymore. I'm getting kind of chubby. And so I don't need this. I just said, even though I should not tell you guys this, but I will. This client was paying me $10,000 per month, every month. And I said, bye. I don't want to do this work for you anymore, because you're lucky to be working with me. And actually, he knew that. I helped this company and you guys will get to the point where you're doing the same. But I helped this guy. He grew his revenue 7 times. He was doing about $700,000 per year before I started working with him. And when I fired him, he was doing 5 million. So he was able to hire 6 or 7 people for the team, right? So I helped people get jobs. I didn't hire them, but he was able to hire people because of the money that we were making. And that's what you do. So anyway, your mindset should be, I'm the money maker, and this client is lucky to be working with me. So it's something that you work on, but you can get to the point where you realize, I'm not going to be treated just any old kind of way. I'm not going to let clients treat me bad. I'm not going to, go and do work for $5 that, write a whole sales letter for $5, because I deserve better than that. It's an important thing for your own life to understand you are worth more than that. And you don't have to just do anything don't have to do everything that anybody says, even if they're paying you, which is what this guy told me. He said, I'm paying you too much money for you to act this way. That's false. I'm making you too much money for you to treat me this way. It's an important mindset shift for you to have. And believe me, when you begin to believe that, it actually turns out better. When you stand up for yourself, people treat you better. When you demand better, you tend to get better. And so when we begin to have this mindset, it will help your life in many ways. I also think it applies to other parts of life as well, but it definitely applies to copywriting. Okay, this one is also important. You have to realize that you are one of a kind, and you really have to be comfortable being different. You should be as different as you can be, right? Nobody writes emails like these two. Do you know it? When you read their emails, it's not like what these other people you like delete, because nobody cares. I want to know about what Rachel was talking about. I want to know about what Golive is talking about in their emails. They write, but it's about their own experience and their own perspective, and that makes you love them, makes us love them. And it's the same thing is true for the way that you write, but also the way that you design your business. You don't have to do things the way that anyone else does them, including me. Yes, I make a good living, but my path is mine, and your path may be different. So if you love writing emails and you're good at it, you can go in that direction. If you love writing for health companies and they pay you a lot of money, then you should do that. And if you hate those things, you don't have to do them. I actually never planned to get in finance, in a financial niche. That was not my plan. But over time, I discovered I was good at it. I was able to make a lot of money, and I got comfortable settling in there. But my path was something else, and I decided over time I'm going to change to go with what makes sense for me, and it's perfectly fine for you to do that. But realize you are who you are. There's no one like you, and what you bring to the table is unique. So that also comes back to the point, or comes back, to the concept that people are lucky, clients are lucky to work with you, because nobody can bring the perspective that you do. No one can bring that specific, special kind of magic that you bring, and you should be comfortable doing it that way. Now, as a copywriter, sometimes obviously we have to. We're speaking in someone else's voice, so you have to make that work. But the way that you sell yourself is like, be you. I guess that's what I want to say. Feel free to be fully you, fully yourself, and magnify your uniqueness, because that's going to be what makes you stand out. Everyone else in the market, the thousands of people who call themselves copywriters, if they blend in, everyone looks the same, then it's hard to choose. But when you're the unique person who does things a unique way, then you stand out, and that gives you an advantage over everyone else who looks the same. Also, as you stand firm in your uniqueness, it really allows you to create the business that you want. You don't have to do those things that you don't want to do, but to a certain extent you might. But for the most part, you're able to work on the things you want to work on in the way that you want to work on them with people who it makes sense to work with. Because if you try to blend in with everyone else, you'll find that you work with all kinds of different people, all kinds of different businesses, instead of being unique and attracting the right businesses to you, the right kind of clients. It's better if you're unique, and that way, you begin to build that business the way that you want to build it. Okay. Fifth point, also critical. You've heard this before, but I just want to say it again. You're not selling time. You're not selling words. You're selling a result. So you need to set your fees based on the actual value that you create for your clients. So it's really easy. I had a client say to me, he hired me to write a sales letter. And I said, it'll take me I probably said 3 weeks to do that.
Sorry about
And
that. Paladin, please mute your mic. Come on. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I told him it was going to be 3 weeks or whatever. And he told me, can't you just it'll probably be about 20 pages. Can't you just do 3 pages a day and it will be done in a week? Like, we're thinking about this whole thing wrong. You don't break it down that way. And I'm not selling you how many hours I work on a project. I'm also not selling you the number of words on the page. I'm also not even necessarily selling you the number of emails in a sequence, although you probably kind of factor that in when you're doing your pricing. But the way that you sell it and the way that you think about it should be, what's the opportunity for the client? If we do this right, how much is it worth for you? And that could be in monetary terms. If you're doing a big launch and it's going to make $1 million, you shouldn't have a problem paying me $10,000 or $20,000. Or if you're going to be, if it's not in direct response, but you're going to look foolish in front of the world if you do this wrong, if your message is wrong, but you'll have an opportunity to be seen as an expert, an authority, an interesting person if you do it right. What is that worth to you and your brand long term? It's worth a lot. It's worth more than, I pay $100 for email or whatever. $100 for email is not that bad. You can actually get a lot more than that, which we'll talk about more in a minute. But sell a result, sell value, because your clients, for the most part, cannot get there without you. So sell that to them. I'm going to help you achieve what you want. It may not look like what you think in terms of what the client thinks. The client may think, like it says here, they think I need 3 emails and I'll be straight. I'll have everything I need. They're probably wrong. We will talk more about that specific point in a minute. But when you begin to say, hey, are you sure you need 3 emails? No, what you need is clients buy, or your customers to buy, or you need people to show up for your webinar or show up for your event or whatever. And so what does it take to make that happen? What is it worth to you when it does happen? It's not the 3 email fee. It's here's the outcome fee. So, and you can also think about it, and I got that in the second bullet point. You can't really think about your skill in terms of time, because sure, it might take me an hour to write an email, but if I spend time researching and editing and then having to talk to you back and forth about it as the client, it takes a lot more. We're not charging by the hour usually, and it doesn't really make sense to do that. So try not to think about that in those terms. My advice, which I have here on the bottom, is that, because you also know it's true, your clients, you think about your clients all the time, don't you? If you have a project, you're eating dinner and thinking about what you're going to write when you get to the computer, or if you're typing on your phone, or you're watching TV, but you're not really watching it because you're thinking about the headline that you want to write. And so your client is renting space in your brain. So they need to pay rent, which is one of the reasons I really like retainer fees for clients who you know you're going to work with for a long time. Think about it that way. I'm going to be thinking of your business a lot. I'm going to be working on your business a lot, and I'm going to be if you want, you know, I'm going to be there for your business a lot. We can schedule a certain amount of time or a certain amount of like kind of deliverables every month. You need this amount of work, and I'm going to be thinking about it anyway. So why don't we just set it up where you pay me? Like I got the situation where I was making, you know, $10,000 a month. We kind of knew, here's what you need here, you know, whatever, however much time it takes, but you pay me on the first of every month, and we do the work over the course of the month because you're renting space in my brain. So anyway, we had to kind of, that's kind of in terms of time, but it's not based on time of that you spend writing. They're just renting space in your brain and paying a premium price for that. I'm sorry, there's a party going on back there. So if there's noise in my background, I apologize. So, right, just again, divorce the time from the fees that you set. Because the other thing is when you start working faster, you shouldn't earn less. You should earn more. Right. So if you think I'm going to earn $10 an hour or $50 an hour or $100 an hour, then you wouldn't want to work faster because then you make less money. Think about it in terms of what the value you create is. Okay. So I'm going to take a break for a sip. Is there any questions on that stuff? Comments? No pressure because we will have time for question and answer at the end. All right, I'll keep moving. So when it comes to brand elements, I am a firm believer in the basic stuff. I will mention them, but we'll move kind of fast. I believe that you need a website. Rachel and Golibe both have websites, right? How do you guys feel about that?
Also,
I'm getting smart.
it's foundational.
Yeah. Yeah. So many copywriters, and there's a lot of experts on social media who say you don't need a website. I mean, you don't need one to get clients, but it makes life easier, especially over the long term. Because if you don't have one, you're going to be hustling every day, trying to stay on top of algorithms so that people can see you. You don't want to do that. A website sets you up as a professional, even if it's very basic. I don't know if any of you know Abraham Cologne. He's in America, somewhere in America. His website is nothing more than a squeeze page. You can check it out if you like. It's at overachievermedia.co. So actually, there's a video there, but it doesn't play. You had to opt in, give me access, and then give me email address, and then you get to see the video. There's no blog, there's no content, there's nothing else, just this page here. And he's doing quite well. So I'm just saying, I bring this up to say, even a very simple website is better than nothing. Because why? It sets you apart as a professional who takes your business serious. So many people have Upwork profiles, and that's fine. I just saw somebody today, maybe it was on Twitter. I don't spend a lot of time there, but they said, I made $1 million in Upwork fees. And I'll show you how if you retweet this, you know, that whole thing. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But most people don't make $1 million on Upwork, right? It's hard. And then you have to be locked into working through Upwork if you rely on that. But if you have your own website with your own domain, you look like a professional. Google likes you. Let me show you this. When I put in my name, now you can argue everyone won't get exactly the same results in Google, and you won't, but I put this in incognito mode to try to make it as unbiased as possible. And the first thing that pops up for my name, I didn't write copywriter. I just put Donnie Bryant. And the first thing that pops up is my website. And strangely, some weird little tags there, right? Coupons, JCPenney, which is a department store. But that's the first thing that pops up. Actually, it's interesting, as in terms of building a brand, I own Google. I got the first thing there. I got Twitter there. I got LinkedIn there. I got YouTube there. I got some obituary, which isn't me, I promise. Then I got my Amazon page there, Facebook page there, and then there's a fourth thing. So in the top 10 results, I have 8 of them. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 7 out of the top 9. So that's pretty good. And I got the pictures. So anyway, some of this is website based. There's a lot of different things, but your website is a key asset for you to look like a professional, and it's the headquarters of your brand. People, your clients will Google you. They will. And if nothing pops up, it's just because you have a website doesn't mean it will go to the top of Google. It might take some work and some time for that to happen, but give yourself the best chance possible by having a website. And even if in terms of not having Google, but you can tell people, go to my website and then you give them the URL. And again, you look more like a professional than if you say, go check out my Upwork profile, right? You have no control over that either. I don't know what, or Fiverr or any of those places. If for some reason they decide to go out of business or they ban you or whatever, I don't know what would happen. You have no control over that. So it makes sense to have a website. So that's a basic point. I believe also you need to be on LinkedIn. Y'all on LinkedIn? I know some of you are, because I think I'm connected to at least a few of you, but I believe in LinkedIn. Now, Rachel looking sharp on LinkedIn. Look at this. This is pretty cool, right? She got a very professional looking picture. Make you stop and look for a second. And then you got the banner here. It tells what she does. It's in orange, so it's eye grabbing. So it's very nice. And then she's very specific. Some people try to get very clever and they put, I'm, the chief Oreo cookie eater. It's funny, but nobody cares, right? You've seen this. People think that clever works, and it might, but not for us. I don't want to be the chief chocolate chip cookie guy. But you got very specific, which is great. Rachel, you can tell us about, or maybe you've talked about this, your strategy here, but you got VSL copywriter, very specific. So not only do I know what she does, that's just the first thing, but also if I'm searching for, I need a VSL copywriter. That's prime position for her to pop up in the search results on LinkedIn. So someone it probably's already put tons of money in her pocket, right? Direct response marketer. Now the claim help clients earn over $1 million in sales. Okay, so I also know she's produced results for clients. Important to know. Video script copywriting, lead acquisition, conversion. So very smartly done here. I think this is really great. And LinkedIn, I can tell you, I got a $50,000 project off LinkedIn. And I didn't even do anything. Somebody found that I was connected to someone they were connected to. They saw I was a copywriter and they sent me a message, right? He said, should we be talking? Yeah, sure. And turned into a $50,000 project. It wasn't $50,000. He didn't pay me $50,000 all at once. But by the time we were done working on his project, it put $50,000 in my pocket in under a year. So that's what's possible on LinkedIn. It's one of the first places clients are going to look. I'm telling you, it's the real deal. Rachel will tell you the real is true as well. I'm just assuming because you got a great profile there. It's also a place where a lot of recruiters are hanging out nowadays. I don't know if any of you are getting these, but I'm getting a lot of recruiters who connect with me and then say, hey, my client is looking for someone who's a copywriter, and are you interested in talking? And so, and if you're in my Facebook group, the Black Copywriter Coalition, I share some of those in there if it makes sense. But I get a lot, and just being on LinkedIn makes you. It's in the same way that having a website makes you stand out as a professional and puts you where you're visible. LinkedIn does the same thing, or can. So a good profile with useful specifics like Rachel's can deliver a steady stream of. I got recruiters, but also clients, also interesting people who you can partner with or become referral network with, like, hey, I'll look out for you, you look out for me. We can all support each other in that way. So LinkedIn, I think, is very important. And also, I'll just bring this back up. My LinkedIn thing is the third official thing, but like the fourth like link that you could click in the search results here. So just being on LinkedIn helps you get own more real estate in the search engines. LinkedIn can get indexed in the search engines very quickly because Google already knows LinkedIn. so it gives you a chance to get up there pretty quickly. So I'll highly encourage you to be on LinkedIn, to have a profile. Don't set your profile up as a resume or a CV, but use it as a sales page for yourself, like Rachel does, like Golive do. If you look at either of their profiles, you may have great profiles. So I'm not saying that you haven't done a good job, but I haven't looked. And I think mine is decent. I'm trying to play cool. I don't want anything to look like I'm trying. So my LinkedIn profile probably says, go hire somebody else. But I should make it say that. I wonder what would happen. But it's a great idea to have that. And it's a great idea to build out your network intentionally. I would say every week you should be adding people to your LinkedIn network, people who, number one, might hire you or you might like to work with. Number two, people who are influencers in the space that you want to operate in the industry that you want to be in. And then number three, people who may be working with the clients you want already, but in different roles. So I have a bunch of graphic designers as LinkedIn connections. Why? Because nowadays I don't do it so much anymore, but I want to be connected to the people who are connected to my clients so that it makes you pop up higher in search results on LinkedIn. Because when you search in LinkedIn for anything, copywriter, your level of connection is one of the big factors in how you rank. So if you're connected to someone who's connected to your client and they search for you, then you'll pop up higher just because of that connection. So I would do those things and also spend at least a little bit of time, if you can, posting on LinkedIn because it makes a difference. LinkedIn likes people who are engaged. It gives you a benefit of visibility. And that sort of thing has created revenue for me and plenty of other people. So I think that that's a basic tool that you have to have. And especially, again, we were talking about building a brand. Professionals are on LinkedIn, even the ones who don't use it. Bill Gates has a profile. He's not on there every day playing with LinkedIn, but he's there. And I don't know if Elon Musk does. He probably does. But you should use it. There's other things that you should use. I think, though, email list is also something that you need to have. Even if you're starting out very small, it's just, I remember when I started mine out, I was sending emails to like 3-4 people. And one of them was my wife. You got to start someplace. And then I've had people on my list, though, now since 2011. They're still reading my emails. And some of them have given me money over time. But it's an asset you own and control. As you build it out, you can sell your products and services. You can do affiliate marketing. If you have a big list, you can sell ad space or sponsored content. People will pay you to talk about you in your email. That hasn't happened for me yet, but it does happen for people. It gives you an opportunity to do that. It's also a great way to form a habit of writing and to develop your writing skills in a lower stress environment. You get to be fully your unique self in your emails. So you should do it. Also, I say this: the sooner you start, the better. I regret very, very much that I didn't aggressively build my list sooner. I just didn't believe it was going to be a valuable asset for me. Many years ago, I didn't know. I was like, what am I going to sell anyway? I don't know. And I spent so much time not trying, not even having a list. And then I had spent time not trying to grow it. And I regret that because I should have many more people on my list than I do. And I probably could have made quite a bit more money if I had started. So that's something that I encourage you to do as a basic for your brand, having an email list. Also, something that's easy to do, Ben Settle does it, I do it too, is your emails that you send to your list can become blog content. It just goes on your website. And one of the reasons that my website ranks so highly, one reason is because it's been online for years and years and years. But another reason is there's 300 articles on the page, right? There's a lot of content in a lot of different ways that I can gain visibility in Google. So I think the email list, it gives you, again, you don't have to, I don't think about blogs. I don't write blogs. I just put my emails onto the website as blogs. And Ben Settle does the same thing. I'm sure a lot of people do, but that's something that you can do it just creates more assets for you, more visibility for you, more ways for people to find you and to see how brilliant you actually are. So I would say that you work on that. Those are the basic things. I have a few other things I want to highlight. I've been talking longer than I planned already. But these are brand elements that I believe that you should have that you may not have thought of. So I would say a tight focus on a few, I got 1 to 3 core topics that you want to be known for. They should be interesting and relevant to the people you want to work with. So rather than just being a person who does anything, who's not you're kind of a jack of all trades, you're not necessarily known for anything. What do you really want to be known for? So I just put an example here. If you talk about storytelling all the time, like everywhere you go, that's one of the things you talk about, or even better to this point, increasing sales of storytelling. So you're being very specific, and people get to know you for that. They when they think about storytelling, they begin to think about you when they think about storytelling or hear about it. And then when other people are talking about story, they can compare. They may be in their mind comparing other people to you, which you don't really want to be compared with them, but you kind of would like to be the standard that other people say, that's not what Rachel said. That's not how Rachel would do this. Or you're not as good as as I tend to see from Rachel. So picking a few things to really become known for, again, that makes you stand out too. Your uniqueness and your core focuses makes you stand out. As long as, again, it's something that you feel you can be interested in for long enough to really just drill down on it and stay there for a while. It can really make you stand out as different. And then your brand is built around something valuable. It's not just, I'm a copywriter. A few years ago, 10 years ago, in the right rooms, I could walk in a room and say, I'm a copywriter. And people ran to me like I was Beyonce, right? They just, oh, it's a copywriter. But it's not quite the same in most rooms now, because there's I think more people know about copywriting. More clients are aware that they need copywriting, but there's also more copywriters. Like I used to be the only copywriter in every room that I went into. You don't know anybody else. But nowadays it's not quite like that. And I think just being a copywriter in general isn't as it doesn't automatically make you stand out the way that it did 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. So you got to have something specific. If you say I'm a VSL copywriter, okay, that nails down what you do, what you're good at. And people who are looking for VSL, I'm gonna talk to you automatically before I talk to just a generic copywriter. So there's one thing that I think is a brand element you gotta have. The second thing is a unique philosophy that you express regularly. Now, this is something you may not have automatically, but just think about it. What do I believe that is valuable for other people to know that they probably don't think about? And it's a branding thing because, again, it sets you up as unique. Nobody else is thinking this way. Nobody else is teaching this way. And so when I talk about these things, as long as it's relevant and interesting to the people you want to work with, it makes you stand out and gives clients something specific to hang, like a hook to hang you on, as it were. Not that we want to be hanging on anything, but I know that's what you stand for. And maybe it's my love for Dan Kennedy, but he stands for the no BS thing, or he stands for what, he's got a bunch of things, and he intentionally made himself known for those things. And the same thing is true for us. I got it as an example to build on the storytelling thing. My philosophy is it's contrarian. Attention spans, maybe they are shrinking for everybody, but for storytellers, it's not. Because you watch a 3-hour movie and you wish it was 4 hours, right? Or Marvel keeps making sequels and you keep watching. Are attention spans getting shorter? Maybe not. I think that they're not. But one thing that's definitely true is for a good story, we'll sit all day. Right. And so if you talk about that and no one else is talking about that, then you can win people over simply by standing up for something that's different and valuable and unique. Okay, so there's that. Third thing is if you have a proprietary framework, if you have one already, that's great. If you don't have one, I would over time develop one. Now, it's interesting because I have one that I never say out loud anywhere. I'm going to work on that. But we've kind of all seen recently Chris Haddad's the punch and gut storytelling thing. I don't have the course. I'm not really interested in it, but he's got a formula or a method that it's like it just sticks in your mind. Like, oh, okay. First of all, pig sounds interesting. Punch in the gut is a very visual thing, and then you say, okay, he has a specific way of achieving a specific result, and I'm interested to know more. So just having a framework makes things easier to sell. You say, I can help you make more money with email. That's cool. You say, I'm going to show you my pig method for telling stories in emails that make you more money. Say, oh, that's interesting. I want to know more about that. And I believe that you're an expert. I believe you know how to achieve a result. I believe you thought deeply about it, probably tested a lot of things. And just by saying you have a framework, that you have a method or a system, it really, again, makes you stand out as an expert, an authority, and you stand out as different from everyone else who's doing things in a random way. Actually, we don't know if it's random or not. We don't know anything, but we believe that you're not random. We believe that you're systematic, intentional, and you probably get better results because of that. So those are brand elements I think that you should work on. Now, again, they can change over time. You don't have to do them all today, but think about them over time. These are things that you want to build into your business and will help you create a brand that's unique. When you think about your favorite copywriters, they all have these, right? They all have these. And so you can work on them yourself, work on them for yourself. Okay, I'm going to keep moving, but was there anything, I'm going to take a sip of water. Is there anything that pops up for you guys? Yes, no? I can talk all day.
Okay. Jide's his hand is raised.
Okay. Jide?
Yeah.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you so much. In fact, right now my brain is actually blowing up and so many imaginations running through my head. In
Great.
fact, this last point you actually raised, which is the tight focus, the unique philosophy, and the proprietary framework, I can now begin to imagine what copywriter is doing. In fact, I think Golibe even has his, like, for example, there's one course he has, which is on the PCI. Then you'd be like, PCI program, like, oh, what's PCI?
Right.
Then it now breaks, okay, practical coaching implementation. So I'm like, oh, so these are frameworks and these are how these guys do things. So thank you so much for bringing clarity. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you want to respond to that really quickly, Golibe? Because I think the same thing. You see PCI and you're like, I know I got something specific in my mind, and you own it.
Yeah, it's a signature offer.
Yeah.
Having a signature offer is also important. Something everybody will know you for. Stick to it, and yeah, that's it.
Great point. So thank you for that. Jide, thanks for that comment. I appreciate that. Do y'all know Naughty by Nature? I know it's an old group. Maybe it's way too old for y'all.
I've heard of them.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad. I'm shocked that you have not watched Breaking Bad. I'm shocked.
I am. Here's what the problem is. And my wife probably will hear me say this and come smack me. So if you see an angry woman, come hit me on Zoom. That's her. She controls the remote. So I've been wanting to watch Breaking Bad for years, but we watch romance movies and comedy shows.
What?
She's like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
Like like The Wire. I haven't been able to watch
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, none of those things. She's like, it's too serious. Let's just watch this, romance and comedy. But yeah, okay. So Naughty by Nature was an important group in the 90s, very influential hip hop group. But they had a song called OPP, which is kind of a nasty song. But anyway, this is less impactful than it would have been for older people. I think also, I don't know if they broke through on the continent the way that they did in America. I know Tupac is massive. You guys love Tupac, right?
A lot. 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Tupac, yeah.
I remember Kanan said, Africans love them some B.I.G., but Tupac is official HNIC. So, Naughty by Nature, maybe not so much. But watch, you see this, these guys you probably do know, right? Clayton Makepeace, legend, David Deutsch, Paris Lampropoulos, who's getting big props these days. He's been doing it for a long time. And me, what am I doing on this stage with these people?
Wow.
Like these are the greatest copywriters of our modern day, really. And then me. Honestly, I didn't belong there. But how did I get there? It's interesting because this moment was kind of it was a big moment in my life. Happened in 2016. And I think this is probably right after I started making six figures consistently. Yeah, and this might have been like the first year that happened. Not because of this, but it was like leading into this. But after that, my life is very much different because I've been on stage with Clayton. I met some important people, got money at this event. So being on this platform, OPP is other people's platforms. Being on this platform made a huge difference in my business. But how did I get here? It's interesting because I got there by being on this platform. I don't know if any of you are reading or getting John Ford's Copywriter Roundtable newsletter. He's got, last time I heard, he had 15,000 people in this, getting his newsletter. He's a big name in the copywriting world, but he's not necessarily super public, but he's very well known in his little corner of the world. And if you've read Great Leads, he and Mark Ford or Michael Masters, and I don't know whose name is on there. They wrote this book. It's a great book. But anyway, several years ago, it must have been probably 2011. I sent John an article, and I said, I quoted, no, I didn't send him an article. I lied. I wrote a horrible ebook. It was really garbage. It was terribly, it was really bad. But I said, John, I quoted you in this book. So I wanted to send you a copy so you could see. And he said, you know what, can I borrow? I'm going to steal a little piece of this for my newsletter next week. Because you'll give me the week off. I don't have to write anything. I'll just put you in there. And he did. He put it in there. I actually got a client from that. But since 2011, then every once in a while, I'll send him articles and he'll put it on his list or send it out to his list of 15,000 people or more. Almost every time I've gotten clients, it's made me more visible to important people. And significantly, when Clayton Makepeace was having that event that I showed the picture of here, he was looking for speakers, and John Ford said, you should talk to Donnie. So me being on that platform, John Ford's platform, directly led to me being on this platform with the legends in a picture that makes me look like I'm equal to them. I have a few pictures. I wish I had better pictures. These are from a cheap cell phone. And I don't know what this guy with the bald head doing in the front. I don't know what's up with that, but it was a great event. And being on platforms has been the number one way that I've been, well, it's probably if there's one thing I could say has led to the biggest increases in revenue and success for me has been working to get on other people's platforms. Now I know it's probably much harder. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I've been doing this for a really long time, so I'm not sure how it is for someone who's newer to try to get these opportunities. But I had to talk about it because this is what has worked for me. But if you can get on other people's platforms, then you're going to tap into an audience that already exists, and you're going to be seen as an expert. And you don't have to do the work yourself. All you have to do is show up. So I just listed some things here: guest articles and posts, not just anywhere. Although when I was first doing it, I didn't have any, nobody was reading my blog. Nobody was on my email list. I was sending out as many cold emails as I could in a day because that's where I came from. Early in my career, I was going on job boards. I was going on Craigslist. I don't know if Craigslist even exists anymore. You may have never heard of this, but looking for anybody who would hire a copywriter. And the first real copy job that I had, I wrote an 8-page sales letter for $25, which is, it makes no sense. But just to talk about being thankful, I was just thankful that anyone would pay me to write copy. It was crazy, but I was doing all of that, and I was building towards things. But one of the things that really accelerated my success was I said, I need to get in front of other people because I can't figure out how to do it for myself. And so I started looking for places where I could write guest articles or guest posts, including John Ford's email, but in a lot of different places. And so I would pop up in a lot of different places and be in front of a lot of different audiences. I didn't do a great job of making sure that those places were where my target audience was. I just wanted to get out there. I wanted people to see me. So I encourage you to do better than me in making sure that you're going after places where your ideal clients are. But if you're able to write guest articles or guest posts, it puts you in front of somebody else's audience, and that's helpful. Podcasts are a big deal in that. And if you can get on podcasts, those can be extremely valuable as well. People who are listening to podcasts, they know that not just anybody can be on a podcast. So now listen, when I started doing this, I was very new. I probably started trying to get on other people's platforms. I was probably a copywriter for 3 or 4 years of being frustrated. And I didn't have particular skills. I didn't have real big success stories that I could share. But I had my own way of seeing things. And I was just going harassing people. But just like John Ford said, you'll give me the week off by writing for me. So I don't have to write in the newsletter this week. I'll just say, hey, look at what Donnie wrote. And I found a lot of people who just wanted content. They were looking for copywriters to share an opinion, or they're looking for Black people to give an opinion on something, or because many of these outlets, it's all white people, or it's all men, and they're looking for women. And so, just if you come in and say, I can add diversity to your very not diverse platform, then that's value to them. And so I was going out and just all the time reaching out to as many places as I could until I started to get some traction, and things got a little bit simpler for me. But you can do that. Podcast, if you find people can be a good place to start. We'll get into a little bit more on that in a second. I'll just read these. YouTube collaboration. So if you have a camera that's decent, and most of us do, we have cell phones, right? You can go beyond somebody's YouTube channel if you know somebody who's got YouTube, or you feel like you can add value to somebody else's YouTube channel. It's something that you could do. I say social media takeovers, which just means somebody else lets you post on their stuff in their group or in their profile or whatever. But if they have an audience that you want to get in front of, and you can share something valuable to that audience, then you leverage those relationships and use their platforms. And then speaking engagements, if you can get them. So I'll just a couple of notes here. Target platforms where your clients are. We talked about that. Don't be afraid to start small. Like I said, I was doing anything. I can do a guest blog on some little tiny website. Nobody was looking at that one either. But I was just doing them, and then I could say, hey, I've written over here. Maybe you let me write over here. And then you read on a slightly bigger one. Maybe you let me write over here. Maybe you let me be on your podcast, and leverage up. So you can start small and leverage up. The other thing is that you could do is, if you're becoming friends with or colleagues with people who have platforms, you may not even have to pitch them, or it may become easier to pitch them. But as you're building out your LinkedIn network and your just your professional network, make it a point to network with people who have platforms. And then, if you can get closer and closer to them, then there's a good chance you'll be able to get on their platforms. And even some things like, for example, there's a real estate company. Well, they have a real estate software. And I'm not in the real estate industry, but just being friends with the guys who own it, I go into their Facebook group or during their lives, and I comment on all these things, and I've become friends with a bunch of the people that work with them. And that's turned into also 5 figures worth of income, because I'm visible where they are. And I have actually spoke on their live stream before, but even not doing that, it's just giving me an opportunity to connect with people who are in the room who can pay me and have paid me. And actually, I've made them a lot of money too. So it's good both ways. Anyway, I know this is it can be a little bit daunting of a task, because there's, it's like, how do I get on other people's platforms? But it's like I said, if you have those things, a unique perspective, a unique philosophy, you have core topics that you've seen as an expert in, not so much the offer, because they don't necessarily want you to pitch their audience. But if you say, hey, here's the pig method of telling stories, and we're just going to talk about how your audience can make more sales with story, whatever. And then it's like, there's value there. I haven't talked about this with my audience, but they need to know it, and they'll bring you on. So it's a value of having unique philosophy and unique topics that you're known for, and unique frameworks, being friends with people, and then pitching. I don't know what else I have on this thing, but you got to be connecting with people. And I suggest, well, let me read what I got here, because I just put these slides together at 2:00 in the morning. I haven't practiced this presentation. Set up a schedule for finding and connecting with new platform owners. So I'll just say, make this part of your monthly thing. Every month, I'm going to find somebody new who their podcast I love, their YouTube channel I watch all the time, or their email list I'm reading. And then it's weird. If you email people who send marketing emails, they get them, they read them, and and you can start relationships with some of these people. Maybe not everybody, but if you're doing it, if you just make it part of your routine every month or every other week or whatever, you just fit it in. I'm going to make a habit. That's why I call it the OPP ritual. Go make it part of your schedule to find and connect and reach out to people with platforms. So I would suggest you find new people on a regular basis, but also that you schedule for yourself to follow up with people who you're already connected with, so that, and you could be pitching them, hey, I got a new idea, or if there's a news story, it's something that's big trending in social media.
Sorry about that.
Like that.
Holiday,
No,
your mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you so you can use, if something pops up in the news, right? Goofy Bouchard did something, right? If you can tie it back to your business, then it doesn't necessarily have to be super tight connection with your business, but you have a unique perspective that you can share on a news story or a trending topic then that would give you an opportunity or an excuse for them to bring you onto their podcast, or for them to, you can write an article or whatever for them. And that gives you it's easy. I need somebody to talk about this. If they have an opinion, you might have an opposite opinion, or you may have a deeper opinion, the hidden story that you're not talking about. And that give you a chance to, and you can just use those ideas. Hey, I know that you talk about this. Have you talked to your people about this other angle about this topic that you're used to talking about? And if they say, oh, that's a great idea. Wow. And then it's like, okay, I can come and talk to your people, or I can write an article about that, or whatever. And that gives you an opportunity to just pop in and get on that platform. The third point that I have here is once you've had these opportunities, once you've been on other people's platforms, I would share, even share old things. I'm not great at this, but it's something that you can do. Hey, I was just, Facebook reminded me of that time that I was, I wrote that little article, on whatever. And you could share mostly the things that are going to give you some authority, something that's going to impress people. Oh, I did a presentation for Facebook. Oh, I didn't share that nearly enough, but but if you have stuff like that, you can share it, once a month. Again, if you're doing this on a regular basis, then just share something a win that you've had in the past, to make sure that you're on these platforms, but also that you're letting people know that you're on the platforms. So that's the OPP ritual. I don't think I have anything else there. How long have I been yammering? It's 3:24. That's crazy. So I'll keep it moving. You can ask a question about that if you have one. Bye. Yeah. Thanks for coming over. All right. Leveraging the law of unexpected consequences to scale to $5,000 and beyond. This is one of those tricky machines, right? It's just a visual for you. Here's what I want to say about that. Your clients, or the people who you want to work with, this is going to be the moneymaker for you guys. I promise. This is going to be a big one. But your clients, the people who you're talking to, and again, as you're building your brand and as you're getting in front of more and more people on other people's platforms or on your own, you're going to have conversations with clients, and they don't know anything. A lot of these clients don't know anything, but they think they do. They're struggling. They know they need better results, or they want better results, but they're clueless about how to get it. And even if they think they have ideas, they're bad ideas in many cases. And that's good for us if we know how to deal with that. All right, so it's good because you can multiply fees, and here's how you do it. This is a lot, man. This is gonna be good though. If you have a conversation with somebody who says, I need 3 emails to sell my course. Well, what is the unintended consequence of these 3 emails? There are the unexpected consequence. If you have emails, guess what? The best email in the world to a terrible sales page will not work. It won't work. All you're doing is wasting clicks. All you're doing is wasting opens and attention and time and money. So the question is, how well does your sales page convert? Duh. Did you even these page? Are you thinking that people are going to go from the email to an order? Maybe they for e-commerce they will. You need a sales page that converted. If they don't know, it's an opportunity. If they do know, but they should be doing better, it's an opportunity. If they have one, even if it's decent, when's the last time you split tested it and saw if you could beat that, right? Each of those is something that you could potentially write for them. You need a sales page. You need a better sales page. You need a second sales page just to split test. If they haven't thought about that, they haven't. I'm telling you, they haven't thought of it. So that's an opportunity for you to expand. So they say, I want to hire you for 3 emails. Well, now we're talking about writing 3 emails and a sales letter, sales page. More money, a lot more. How about this? Do you have to reach your goal? They don't. They're wrong anyway. Because 3 emails is never the right answer, except maybe in an abandoned cart sequence. And then in my experience, you're missing out on a lot of money just sending 3 emails. You really need to send 7, 10 emails, 15 emails. You need to build up to this thing longer. You need to follow up longer. So rather than 3 emails, now we're talking about selling them 10 emails, and you can make the case for that. So this goes back to, you're the money maker. I know how to make you money. They don't know how to make money on their own. They're not doing it right. That's why they're talking to you. And if you're willing to be a little bit uncomfortable, you can make them more money and make yourself a lot more money. So there's that. How about this? Do you have upsell emails or sales pages in place? So the unintended or unexpected consequences, what if they buy your course? What now? You could upsell them. Do you have an upsell? You don't have an upsell. What are you talking about? Or they have an upsell, but how are you promoting it? Because if they buy it, and then, okay, let's say, okay, I bought the course, and they have a thank you page or they have an upsell page, and they don't buy the upsell. Guess what? They still can get upsell emails, and they need those, right? But if they don't have them, they're missing out on money. They're missing out on money. And you're telling them, you're missing out on money. Let me help you make some more money. So you can now sell them upsell emails. If they don't have an upsell page, you can write this upsell page. You could do both. If they don't have an upsell at all, you can walk them through the process of creating an upsell so you can increase your revenue. If these are things that you want to do, but these are just examples. What about abandoned cart emails? Which is happening more in e-commerce probably than in selling courses, but you don't have follow-up for people who started order and then didn't finish. You're losing money. In my experience, you might be losing 15, 20%. You got to have abandoned cart emails. It's free money. You're just letting it go, right? You're sending emails. Cool. What's the unexpected consequence? Like this, you're losing out on the opportunity to have outside traffic because you may want to go to somebody outside of your list. So do you have Facebook ads? You have Google ads. You have Instagram ads. You have YouTube ads. Why don't you have them? Have you tried them? And if you have tried them, when's the last time you split tested those? Because there's a chance you could do better. And if you hire a professional copywriter versus your cousin who just your cousin wanted to make it, thought they could do a good job. I'm a professional. This is what I do. So let me get a shot at it. You probably don't want to say, let me get a shot at it, but say, if I can't outperform, then I'll give you money back. You might want to see their ads first, but I'll throw that in there. We're going to do the emails. Cool. If they don't work for it. You don't have to. You need more Facebook ads. You need more. Google is especially the case because Google wants whole sets of ads. So you're going to do 10 headlines per ad set and 3 different descriptions. So the people need more copy. They need more. And you got to sell them. Feel free to sell them. Guess what? We got more. Have you considered working with affiliates? A lot of your clients have never even thought about working with affiliates. See, the unexpected consequence of that is you're missing out on money again because you're just thinking about your own list. What about other people's lists? They have bigger lists. They have buyer lists. You can tap into that. So just bringing it up gives them a chance to make more money. But guess what? Your affiliates need swipe copy. I can write emails that you can give to your affiliates. And if you don't have swipe copy, number one, there's a lot of people who won't be affiliates for you because they don't want to write their own copy. And number two, there's a chance that they're going to not do as well because they're not going to be as good at writing copy as you are. So if you give them good copy, they'll get more sales. Overall, the client makes more money and the affiliates are happier. So they might do business with you again in the future. Especially, again, now it's also a better relationship. You've given them everything they need to succeed as an affiliate. So more money. Is your social media aligned with your email copy? It's not. I can tell you it's not. These people who will ask you to write emails are not thinking about the big picture. The unexpected consequence is you're saying 2 different things on social and email, and you're confusing people, or at least you're missing out on the opportunity to have them work together. So if somebody doesn't read your email, but they look at your Facebook page, are you capturing that? Are you taking advantage of that? Or somebody who reads both, are they seeing the exact same thing? Or are they seeing messages that work together and convince you more? So now you can write social media copy for them instead of just 3 emails. Think about this. Now we're talking about having written extra sales page, extra emails, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, right? Abandoned cart emails, walking them through the upsell. This is something they just came to you asking about 3 emails. They may not want to do all these things, but any of these things are possible. Have you tried using video? Even on an existing sales page, adding a video at the top can boost response. You don't have a video? I can write a video script for you. You haven't even tried it, you're missing out. Do you plan to use these exact same emails next time? Maybe, but depending on what the business is, they may need new emails. They may need updated emails. So maybe it makes sense for you to get a retainer with me so that when you need updates, we're already working together. You don't have to come find me and hope that I'm available. You don't have to hire somebody who you don't know how good they are, or you don't know each other. Like, we will have a relationship together. And so the longer we work together, the better I know your business, the better I know your audience, the better how the tests in the past have worked, so we know what works and what doesn't work. And the better you know me, the more comfortable you are with how we work together. Or do you want to start all over again with somebody else? You can sell it to them that way. And then next, also, are you emailing your list regularly, or are you like my cousins who only come around when they want to borrow some money? You guys got any? You got any good relatives like that? You never see them until they need something from you. Let me borrow your whatever, right? No, if you're, and a lot of your clients are not sending emails, so maybe it makes sense for you to get into doing regular emails to your list. Because when you don't email, then they become disengaged. They don't respond when you have launches. They're already tuned out. They forgot that you exist. So we're talking about retainer. How about this? Maybe you want to write 1 email a week to your list just to keep them engaged, just to give them additional opportunities to buy stuff. Maybe it's 2 emails a week. Maybe it's daily. Most people are not going to go from 0 to daily, but maybe I had a client who did that. Went from 0. Now, was it daily? Maybe it was 4 times a week. From 0 to 4 times a week. They may be just, I wish I could do it. I don't have time for it. Well, guess what? If you don't tell them that they can do that and they can hire you to do that, you're missing out on money. And if you do tell them, if you tell everybody who you have a conversation with, you ask them about these things. And these are just examples. You can think of other things. I've done voicemail messages for clients, right? What does your voicemail sound like? It's horrible. You're trying to sell something and your voicemail is horrible. You need to fix that. You can sell any number of things, but here's the point. Your clients don't think about these things. It's like, if I write great emails but have a terrible sales letter, that's the first example. It's a waste of emails, and it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. So you need to deal with the unexpected consequences, Mr. or Mrs. Client, and that's what you're here to do. So everything is connected. And every opportunity contains the seed of another opportunity. So you can, if you think about the big picture, how does this fit into your business as a whole? What else can spring forth from what you're asking for, or what is here that you're asking about? Because you're asking me about email, but really the real issue is something else. You can do that. So having the rainmaker mindset reminds you're the money maker, you're the person who can make this more profitable for them. And once again, if you add $10,000 a month to their thing or more, they should be paying you thousands of dollars, right? So here's the thing. If you think that you're doing them a favor by just doing what they ask, you're not. They need more. The unexpected consequences mean there's so many opportunities they're missing out on. And if we just do what they ask, we're leaving money on the table for ourselves, but we're also leaving money on the table for them. And as I said in the beginning, they will be happier that you disagreed with them and made them more money than they would be if you just did what they asked you to do and smiled. They want the money. That's what they really want. So you can help your clients make more money by exploring the full range of consequences. And then like you can charge discounted rates for bulk. I'm going to write now 100 emails. I may not give you the exact same rate as 100 times what we were talking about in the beginning, but maybe it's 50 times more. But you should charge like your life depends on it, because it does. We make money so that we can live life on our terms the way we want to. And so when you show the client all these things that they're missing out on and suggest to them that they hire you to make them work for them, feel the confidence to charge all, fees that make sense. So, I don't know how to tell you how to set those fees because each situation is different, but charge with confidence. Especially, like I said, if you're showing them something they didn't even think of, you don't have to then go in and give them a discount price. Even if you don't hire me, you're in a position to make more money because now you've thought of this. And hopefully they'll hire you. And as you're doing this over time, you'll find some people will say no. Some people will say yes to a few of these things. Some people will say yes to a lot of these things. And some of them will turn into relationships that last for 6 years, right? Like I got this one I was telling you about. And that's what you can do for those clients. So now it's the question and answer session. I know I've already talked for way longer than I should have. So what do y'all get?
It has been awesome. It has been an awesome session. Thank you so much. Like you went from point A to point B and everything in between. That's been crazy. Well done. So
I feel like I said I could have done more, but this is what we got.
you have started with that humility. I keep talking about that humility. Okay.
Any questions?
Do you guys have any question? If you have any question, you can just raise your hand and ask. You just raise your hand.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, now is the time. Baladi, Festus, Olachi, okay.
And I must say, I love your
Festus.
slides a lot. I love your slides a lot. TV, man.
This is a great slide right here.
Okay, Festus. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Donnie. Thank you so much for today's class. Yeah. So my question is, like, I wanted to ask about the retainers. You mentioned something about retainers. Like, I wanted to ask, like, how exactly do you structure your retainer offers? Is there like a like, do you like list out deliverables each month for the clients, or how exactly do you go about that?
It's a very good question. I'm glad that you asked. In most cases, yes. In the conversation we have in the beginning, they usually have in mind what they want to do, right? I need once a week emails. And again, like we talked about, you can suggest other things that you have to ask questions about their business. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What's working? What hasn't worked for you? But yes, then you will normally in that conversation say, oh, you know what? It really makes sense not for you to do one email, but for you to do 2 emails a week. And you probably need social media, whatever, text message marketing. So yeah, well, you should try to do that twice a week also. And then you say, okay, well, how about we do this? We're going to do, whatever that looks like. It's 8 emails a month, more or less. And then 8 messages a month and 4 Facebook posts a month, whatever you come up with that between you and the client seems like a good solution for them. And then, right. So basically every month, it may not be exactly, or it may be exactly, I will do this for you exactly. But sometimes there's flexibility. I usually have some flexibility because I realize my clients tend to have things come up that they need to jump on. In financial, it happens a lot, right? So it's like we have some flexibility, but basically we're expecting this deliverable, and I'm expecting payment. I get paid in advance. I suggest that you try to do it the same way. On a retainer, I mean, it's kind of how it works. You pay me for a month, I work for a month, or you could do it on different time frames. A month is what I usually do. I'm about to send a July invoice to a client. Now we're just doing it for the month, even though we started mid-month. We're just going to move it that way. So yeah, we know what the deliverables are. I've created some flexibility. And actually, I'm doing a lot more work for this client than I said, because when we first talked, I didn't realize how many segments were on the list. But the emails that I'm sending to each segment are pretty close, so I didn't change the fee. So anyway, to answer your question, I usually will come to an agreement about what the deliverables are and come to an agreement about what the fee should be. And so every month is fairly predictable. And then you just have to do a good job of performing, and then they can keep you around. Again, I've had this one retainer client for 6 years. I had the guy that I fired, I worked with him on a retainer for about 2 years. So if you think about it, this one guy paid me close to $200,000. It's a lot of money. So for that's normally how you would do it. Sometimes it's a little different. If the amount is a lot, like if you can go and get an amount of money where you're willing to do a lot of work for it, maybe it doesn't matter. You say, hey, I'm available between these hours or whatever you need on these days. Hit me up. We'll talk about it. And just as long as you're paying me that $5,000 a month on the first of the month every month, or whatever your fee is. So I usually like to know what the deliverables are, because people will take advantage of you if you don't. But you don't have to do it that way. That's a horrible answer to the question. So just go with yes. Yes, you should you should agree on deliverables and fee in advance. And then don't let them mess around on that. I'm gonna be late. All right, I'm gonna be late too. Your clients, or your email list is not gonna get emails. Your sales are not gonna happen, because I've been burned too many times. And by too many, I mean like 3 or 4, but that's too many times for me to have written, and then the person decides we're going in another direction, or it's not in the budget for this month. Or I had one client who their company merged with another company, and then they never paid me for the work that I did. Like, hey, we're a whole new company now, and we don't need the work that you've been doing. So you got to get paid, and then if they're not paying you, then you're not working. I hope that answers your question, Brother Festus.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Although if you had like maybe templates or something that you've done before that's like a model, that would be nice to see.
Oh yeah, I don't have one. That's a great point. I should have one. It's on the phone. We have a conversation, and I don't usually. I might be able to find a proposal. In fact, I might have one, and I'll share with you guys. I'll dig it up and have it sent to you. But like where it's a kind of a proposal for what the work looks like. Yeah, I think I have one of those. I can dig it up. But normally the conversation is just on the phone, and then we agree. Actually, yeah, let me write that down, because I remember this most recent client that I started working with. I sent an email because we didn't decide on the phone what we were going to do. She was in the hospital when we were talking. So I sent an email clarifying what we agreed on. I will get you guys that stuff. Okay. I'll get the retainer.
Yep, thank you.
Sure. I hope it's usable for you. I think it'll be good. All right. What's the next question?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
thank you, Donnie.
thank you. And I have a second question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like for this stuff on like you explained that the client doesn't know what they want, and you should actually like probe deeper into their business to find out their needs and then offer them solutions and all of that. But like, is there like I kind of feel maybe like there needs to be some authority that you have built with that client before like with the prospect before you can actually suggest getting a call, right? I'm not too sure about it. I think maybe you need to like build some authority. Like maybe they've been seeing your post or engaging your content or any of that. Is that really important? I just want to
Yeah,
clarify. Is that
it's,
important?
it's another great point. I guess I brought those things up to say when you're in a conversation, then realize that there's more involved. But if your question is really about, you need to know more about their business, knowing what they're doing, being familiar with them is helpful, because then you kind of already know. I've seen what you've done. I have one lady who I've been wanting to work with, but I can't find time to do it. Her emails are horrible. I know that your emails are horrible. I can show you exactly why they're horrible. But I just, I haven't gotten around to doing it because I don't have time to work with this lady. She's a lawyer. But research is good. I think that's the question you asked, right? Do you need to have information or insight into what they're already doing before you begin to probe that way? Or was it a different
No,
question?
I mean like, can you like do that on the first time they engage with you, or do you
Oh,
need to have built authority over time before you can like maybe ask them to take a call or something like that?
The great thing about those questions is you don't need to have a relationship, and you don't have to have, hopefully you're building authority. This is what having a brand will do for you. But even if you don't have that, the questions themselves create a situation where you become an authority. Because if you say, what is the conversion rate on the sales page for this? And if they don't know, now they've just shown that you know something. You don't necessarily know information that they don't know, but you have an understanding of the problem they have that they don't have. And so now you're the expert. I don't know what the conversion rate is.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, let's go figure that out or whatever. And so having, even in the first conversation, if you reach out to them, it's the same thing. Or if they reached out to you, you become the authority by asking the questions, especially if they don't probably know the answer, or making suggestions, but you have to have some, like, you don't have to know about their business, but you could say, in my experience, I found that the best, people ask me this question all the time, but like, what works best? What tends to work best? They always ask, what's the best subject line you can use? The fact that they don't know, and then if you have an answer, you become an authority in their eyes. But even if they don't ask, you can suggest, hey, in my experience, you don't even have to necessarily explain what that experience is. But in my experience, you're going to get, if you stop at 3 emails, this is just for example, you're going to miss 50% of your sales. Because people are still buying. If your average open rate is, real open rate, which is hard to determine, but if your average open rate is 20%, you probably have to send 5 emails to have a chance at 100% open rate. That's never going to happen. But just for an example, some people will miss the email. If you send it out over the weekend, some people are on holiday. You need to send on different days of the week. You need to send at different times of the day. And really, if you just do 3, you can't cover all of your bases. And you can't make your full sales argument. And so in my experience, you're missing out on significant sales. And if you have experience or can find some studies, they'll say, I don't know. I do have experience just working with my clients. I can say, we never stop at 3 emails. It's crazy because people are still buying on email 7. They're still buying on email 12. Yeah. And we email until they stop buying. So anyway, when you talk that way, then you don't have to prove anything to them. You're just suggesting you're the way that you're looking at this is incomplete. And I have experience that says there's a better way.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Firstly, I hope we answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Donnie.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Jide, are you there?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Shoot.
Thank you so much, Kuliwe. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you to Donnie too. Thank you so much for the clarity. In fact, I'm actually sitting, but I feel like I'm levitating already. Like on my seat, honestly. Like I'm kind of like feeling like $1 million copywriter already. Like the way you actually is it future pacing? Like in my head, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm the person doing it to clients. I'm like, oh more.
You
So
can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it.
yes. Thank you, Rachel. I saw that. Okay, Tony, my question is, I want us to more like do a reverse role. Like I'm kind of like taking your position and you're taking my position now. So imagine you having to talk to the younger Donnie. I think you said you started like 2011 or so. So what is that? Okay, wow. So what's that one thing, sir? Like what's that one thing that can really, if the way I think you said that time when you enter a room, you tell people you're a copywriter, people like, oh, everybody rush you, but now it's more like water, like it's everywhere. What's that one thing that you feel you can tell your younger self now so that at least to become more like an A-lister in this thing of ours? I want that one thing, sir. Thank you.
The a thought-provoking question. Here's what I would say for myself. I spent several years really waiting for somebody else to kind of anoint me, like to give me approval in some way to play at a higher level. Like I was playing it very small. I was feeling like I got to charge what everybody else is charging, maybe a little bit less because I'm really not confident in my skills. And I realized I don't remember what, I'm probably read something, but nobody's going to come and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, Donnie, you're ready for this. I also wasn't aggressively going after what I wanted. I was just taking what came my way and hating it a lot of times. Have you ever done this? Have you ever said yes to a project and then as soon as you got done, you said, why the freak that I don't want to do this? I don't why did I charge $100 for this? Or like in my case, why did I charge $25? Or why did I agree to $25 for a sales letter? And when I think about it, I did the sales letter and I went back and wrote one of his bonuses. I wrote the bonus. I was thankful to get paid. So if I had to talk to Donnie in 2007, I was 25. Yeah, 25. So if I was talking to 25-year-old Donnie, I'm old. But if I talked to 25-year-old Donnie, I would say this. The things that I was saying about the Rainmaker mindset, having just begun to study copywriting and marketing, I already am in a place where I can charge more. I'm already in a place where I can speak as an authority for some of these clients. I can't go to Dan Kennedy in 2007 and say, here's what you need to do, Mr. Kennedy, right? You can't do that. But for the clients I was working with at that time, they really needed a lot of basic help. So I would say, number one, decide what you want to do and then intentionally do that. So I could say a lot of things, but like, for example, I said I didn't plan on getting into financial at first. In fact, I did not want to do that. But even before that, I was just doing anything. I didn't decide what I wanted to do. So I would say early on, Donnie, pick something. Pick what you really are going to be interested in doing. I would have told myself to get into finance if I knew. I could have started much sooner. But specialize in something and go after it. Position yourself as an expert in that field and go after it. And have the confidence to go for what you want, to charge fees that you won't hate having said yes to. Because then they pay you and the money's gone and you still got to do the work, right? Maybe it's just me, and I don't even spend the money because it would go to my bills or go to my kids, right? I had 3 kids. I had 3 kids at the time. Anyway, so yes, have confidence to go for what I want, specialize, and walk in that position of the expert. this guy right here on the slide. I when I come in the room, I can make a change for these companies, and I need to act that way and not act like somebody who's you're doing me a favor by paying me $25 for a sales letter that actually he used for years. I have no idea how much money that sales letter made, but I went back and looked at the URL 4 or 5 years later, the same page is there. Who knows how much money
he's
he made?
working. It means he's working big time.
Walk in.
Yeah, it means
I mean,
for the sales
yeah.
letter to still be there after 4 years, it means that it is working and he keeps putting it out there.
Oh, it working. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was working for years. And he paid me nothing. I didn't get royalties. I didn't get a thank you card at Christmas that said Donnie. I just made got money. I wasn't in a place mentally to say that. And guess what? The next time I went and did the same kind of thing. I did start saying, look how much money I made this guy. I should be charging more. I said, I need somebody to pay me. I need anybody to pay me. And I would have, if I had to talk to myself, go back and tell myself, I say, get out of that mindset, because you are valuable. You're bringing value, and and don't sit and wait for somebody to give you their approval. Go after what you want, and you'll be surprised, 25-year-old Donnie, what you can do when you really put your effort to it instead of waiting. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I hope that's
clarity.
I hope that's practical, because it's kind of like out there. But I feel like we do that to ourselves, because you can accomplish anything. This is a true story. I know if for a Black man or Black woman, it's a little trickier. And I'm sure, I have no doubt that people who are outside of America have a harder time. If you're trying to work with American companies, it's harder. And Africa is one place, but I mean, anywhere in the world where you're not in America, it's trickier. So there are some challenges, but the only thing that these clients care about is, can you make me money? Can you help me make money? And if you can, then all those other things, they will they will overlook them, because the only thing that matters is accomplishing their goal. So it's just about chasing that and having the confidence. Don't allow, because we could do that. That's what I was saying. The mindset is, they're gonna look at me, they'll see that I'm living in Lagos, and they're gonna automatically think that I don't know what I'm doing. And they may think that, some of them may, but if you allow that to seep into your thinking, then it will sabotage everything that you do. You have to say, I'm a money maker. I'm a rainmaker. I can bring all kinds of money into the clients that I choose to work with. And if they don't see that, then it's their loss, because there's a trillion. There's so many businesses out there. Just get past that fear that I have to say yes to anybody, and I'm lucky if they say yes to me, because it makes you feel weak, it makes you feel small, and it keeps you from going after what you really want. Helpful. Okay. 12, I think you're next.
Hello, Donnie.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for coming on. It's been a very insightful session. Gulibra and Rachel, thank you for bringing him on to speak with us. I like the part where you talked about you firing a client because he was overworking you. And I have a question somewhat related to that.
Okay.
If you work on a one-time project with a client, a sales page, a sales letter or something, and then a few months down the line, they want you to come back and we do some part of it. I don't know, we do some part of it because to him, maybe it stopped converting or something is wrong. I don't know, doesn't that seem like is taking advantage, or does not doing it make you seem less professional? That's my question.
It's a great question, and I have had that happen before. It used to be many years ago that I wrote back when I used to write these proposals. I don't do that anymore, really. But like I said, I actually did just do it because I was forced to get this project. But listen, don't tell anybody. I made $8,500 for 3 days worth of work or something like that, probably 4 days. So I said, okay, I'll write a proposal for you. But I said I'll share with you. But I used to write into, and then actually maybe in this, I didn't even look at it really, but I used to say, you can request 2 revisions within 30 days. I used to write that in because I think for me it was, I didn't have the confidence to believe I was going to do a great job. And so I said, I'll come back and fix it. Just hire me, please. And I'll fix it. I'll make it right if it doesn't convert. But it had to be within 30 days because I didn't want somebody coming 2 months later, like you said, and saying, can you redo this because it's not working? If you don't know it isn't working within 60 days, then that's your fault. Also, if it worked for 59 days and then on day 60 it's less than you want, that's not my problem. Also, somebody, and I just thought of this, I never thought about this before, but if somebody said it doesn't work because they're really just trying to get a second version of the page for split testing, they may say to you, this doesn't work that great. And they might still be using the old one, but also using the new one. I need a new headline. Yes, yeah, I know what you're up to. But anyway, I used to do that. Over time, let me give you a specific example. This was a couple years ago, and a big name internet marketing guy who I won't say his name. You all may not know him, but he's a pretty big name. And I wrote a sales page for him. No, I wrote a sales script. It was a webinar script for him. He told me he made sales before he even started driving traffic to the page. Great. Then he disappeared, which is fine because he paid me. And he came back. It was exactly that, 2 or 3 months later, and said, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and I need you to rewrite it. I said, you're joking, right? Number one, you approved it in the beginning. Number two, you said that there were sales before you even started paying to drive traffic. And number three, you cannot disappear for 3 months and then ask me to rewrite something. Can't do it. So I told him no, and we never spoke again. So does it make me look unprofessional? Maybe, but you are taking advantage of me at that point. And for me, I think I said I would do it if you paid me, and you wasn't going to pay me, so we didn't do it. But it wasn't worth me doing free work because of negligence on his part. If he had come back within 2 weeks and said, I see some things in here I really don't like, or we tried traffic and this isn't converting very well, can you make adjustments? I would have done it because I'm still kind of in the mindset. After 2 or 3 months, you've moved on. So to answer your question specifically, I would say this: have that conversation in the beginning. You might say, I'm happy to do revisions, but you put some framework around that. I'm not going to do 50 revisions, 2 revisions, which means you need to know exactly what you don't like quickly so that I can change it. And you have to do it within, it could be 7 days. It could be 48 hours if you want, but set a time frame so they don't come back later and try to, I'm not coming back unless you're paying me again to do that after a certain amount of time. So I would say that I don't think it makes you look unprofessional necessarily, but if you have the conversation up front or put that in the terms of your agreement, then there won't be any questions. You guys don't know better than to even ask me. Or if you want to ask me, there's going to be an additional fee, or you're going to come to me right away and tell me what the problem is. And then I'm fine because you really want it to work for them. You want to do a good job, and that makes sense. The other thing that's true, if you get in these retainer agreements or on royalty agreements, and on a retainer, it kind of makes sense. We'll just work that into the amount of work that I'm doing for you this month, right? It makes sense, whatever. But you kind of have in mind when you set the fee, I may have to do rework. So you can do that. On a royalties, if you're getting paid a percentage of sales, you'll probably make those adjustments because it will keep you making money. So it's in your best interest to make those adjustments. So I'll say that and to shorten the answer up, just have that as part of your agreement up front, but don't let someone take advantage of you in the manner that you described. You don't get to disappear for 2 months and then come back. I don't think you get to disappear for 30 days and not say nothing and then come back and say, I don't like it. I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have time for that. You already moved
Yeah.
on to the next thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks.
Welcome. Great question. I'm glad. I like Q&A sessions because I know I talk, what makes sense in my own head, but I don't know exactly what you need. So the question that you ask are great.
Okay. I think that will be all. Any other question, guys? Any other question? I think we have exceeded the time we set for this. Thank you so much for coming, Donnie. The presentation has been awesome. It has been precise, practical. That's the most important part of it. I always hammer on practical learning, not just fugazi and all that. So thank you so much for this practical learning. It stems from a lot of experience and all. So well done. We appreciate. Okay. So that's
I appreciate being able to be here. I'm gonna share the slides so that you have them. I'll give them to you right afterwards, and then I'll dig up the retainer proposal stuff so that everybody can just see. If it's helpful for you to have some kind of template, you can templatize it for your own proposals and retainer stuff. Okay. I'll share all that, this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll be sharing that to them once we get it. So much appreciation. I can see in the comment section, everybody saying thank you. Thank you, Donnie.
Yes.
Everybody comment section. Okay. Thank you for coming to today's class, guys. Thank you, Donnie, for turning up. Have a wonderful day. Any other thing we'll be communicating to you. I'll send you a WhatsApp message. I'll buzz you. Well
Perfect.
done. Hello.